So like I said, we're going to start standing up. And let me adjust the computer screen just a little. All right, so why don't we come right to, I'm going to do that one more time. Why don't we come here to the center of our mats? And we're going to just begin with, I'm going to clear my blanket out of the way. So take your feet all the way together for a moment and let your big toes connect. Let the heels connect. And you're going to, from this position here, just lightly lift your 10 toes off of the floor. And as you lift the 10 toes, kind of play the piano with your toes. Stretch them, pull them up. Very nice. Good. So feel hopefully that firms your whole leg here. And then from here, let's go ahead, take your hands to your hips. And then lightly begin to move some weight back. While you're moving your weight back, we're going to open our chest, abrir el pecho. Good. And then just lift and lower the weight of our body a few times, moving the weight back. Good. So as you try this, make sure that the spine, la columna, está recta. Your spine is staying straight. It's traveling straight back. And then arriba. And then straight up. Good. And now I want you to pay attention to your feet. So as your spine is going up, your feet are really moving wide. Good. And if it feels nice to kind of add some movement here with your arms, I'm going to pull my palms in front of my chest and then exhale, spread out just a little bit. Good. So let's try just a few more breaths right here in a sit to stand kind of way. Exhaling to lift, inhaling to lower, exhaling to lift. Let's do this one more time. Good. And now let's pause on bottom and lift your sternum and then round the middle of your back. So we're going to stretch, largando la columna. And then you're going to arquear la columna. So try that just a couple of times. When the head comes down, see if you can get a little stretch in between your shoulder blades. Very nice. And let's try this one more time. Inhale and exhale, estirando entre los omoplatos, in between the shoulder blades. Good. So now we're going to exhale and bring ourselves all the way up for a moment. And now step your 2 feet wide. So we're going to go wider than your hips here. And then we're going to just bend one knee and straighten the other knee. Bending a knee, straightening a knee. And remember, same sensation, right? As your knee bends, you want to feel yourself spread across the feet and lengthen through your back. Good. And you may feel a little stretch around the calf and the Achilles here. Very nice. So now same thing with your 10 toes facing forward. Let's let the thighs move back. Let the tailbone move back. And now the arms can float out to the side as you're bending. Good. Let's take a couple more breaths, a couple more rounds, just waking up. Whew. Very nice. Good. And then from here, we're going to pause with the thighs down. And then once again, try a little weight shift. Lado y lado, a la izquierda, a la derecha. Good. So just slightly waking up your legs. Good. Energía por los brazos, so energy through your arms. Good. And then let's pause here in your center. Go ahead and lengthen up, stretch all the way back so the sternum lifts towards the sky. And then we're going to exhale, let opposite hand cross your midline. Take a little stretch here towards one leg. Good. And then we're going to inhale, lengthen all the way up and stretch towards the opposite leg. Good. We're going to inhale, come all the way back up into standing position. And now the feet are going to move slightly wider again, and we're going to turn the toes out. So now this time your tailbone's gonna go down. So let's begin first few rounds with a hand on the front of the pelvis, a hand on your sacrum, and let the knees bend and open out. Good. And let the tailbone go straight down. So you want to make sure you can see your big toes on either side as the knees bend, so you know you've externally rotated the legs enough. And now vamos a incluir los brazos en este movimiento. So you'll just now include your arms in this movement. Exhaling as you lower, perhaps inhaling as you come up. Good. All right, and now let's pause with your arms up, and now just lift a heel, lower a heel, lift the opposite heel, lower a heel, feeling your ankle muscles of the calf, de la pantorrilla. Good. Are waking up, animando. Excellent. And now from here, let's exhale just one side. I'm going to turn my left toes in and keep my hips facing the same direction. And now I'm going to bend and straighten towards my right leg. Maybe you're going to your left. Now, something I want you to feel is if your knee is coming too far out, walk your toes just a bit further out. Good. And make sure that the knee comes only over the heel mientras estás doblando. And also you want to make sure you can see your big toe. So you really deeply externally rotated the leg. Adding the arms when and as that feels good to you. Good. And then we're going to pause here on bottom. Let's go ahead and just stretch over towards this leg. Go ahead, look down at your toes. Check in. Can you lift them up from the floor? Could you lift your heel? Good. A big stretch. And then let's exhale, bring ourselves back around, turning your toes in. Los dedos del pie opuestos. We're going to open. Vamos a abrir. And now you're going to keep your pelvis equilibrada. So remember, these two hip bones are balanced and even. And then vamos a doblar. You're going to bend y estirar, largar la pierna izquierda or derecha, whatever side you haven't done yet. Good. So now let's exhale and just add our arms into this movement. Good. So more limbs, more blood flow, but you still want to be conscious of how you're moving. Good. Always knowing you can move the arms if you need to just focus on the movement of the leg. Make sure you can see the big toe on this side now. Good. Let's do one more big bend. Haha. That's somewhere I'd like to go right now. And then exhale, just take a big stretch over. Now check in with your foot. So you don't want the foot to be gripping, but instead stay really alert. So wiggle your 10 toes, ball of the foot, lift the heel. Good. Exhale, big stretch over. And then from here, nos levantamos. You'll lift yourself back up. Let's turn the 10 toes back in. And now I'm going to shift my weight so that I'm turning both sets of my hips towards my right leg. So whichever leg works for you, go there. So now I want you to think about bending and straightening your front knee with a balanced and steady pelvis. Good. So now the hips are facing the front leg. Mientras estás doblando, estirando la pierna derecha. Good. So let's pause with the front leg bent. Let's bring your two arms up. And now create a real arch in your back. So you can even let the tailbone reach towards the back heel. Feeling again, sitting bones balanced, steady. Let's exhale. Bring your arms forward. You can take opposite hand to thigh. And then exhale, stretch all the way over this leg. Good. So now let's take two hands here to the floor for a moment. And then you can take a little bit of weight into your hands, bend your front knee just to any amount that feels good. And then you can shift some weight so that the back leg lifts. Lift only to the amount that really feels good to you. And then you can straighten the front leg just a hair. Dos or tres respiraciones, so 2 or 3 big breaths. And then let's see if we can bend the knee. Set that foot right back down where it was. More fully stretch your back. Estira la columna. Otra vez. So continue to stretch your spine. And then let's exhale. Pull your weight up on the floor. So that's a great opportunity to work on your balance. And then we're just going to pivot, change the position of the feet and steady your hips facing the opposite direction. Your back toes should turn slightly out. Your front toes facing forward. Now this is my left leg in front of my right. And I'm going to bend and straighten this knee. If it feels comfortable, you can add your arms into this movement. Remembering trying to take the movement with a balanced and steady pelvis. Good, and also feeling your Achilles back here on the on your back leg, getting a dynamic stretch as you pull into this bend and back. All right, so vamos a bajar. You're gonna stay down here for just a moment. Estirando los brazos arriba. Good, and let your tailbone reach towards the back heel. So you can really get a deep arch in your back, stretch your abdominals. The head come back a little if it feels nice. And then we're gonna exhale, coming forward, opposite hand to thigh. Slide yourself down this leg. Very, 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 very nice. Good. Give this a few breaths, trying to really, again, balance your pelvis. So let the left hip bone pull back as your right hip bone comes forward, pushing all heels, all 2 heels there into the floor. And then we're going to exhale, set 2 hands down. Stretch for a moment, let your head go. So really feel this deep stretch in your hamstrings. Good, and then if it feels nice, go ahead, bend your front knee. Let your torso come out over the leg. And again, remember, give yourself permission. Pause anywhere. No hay prisa. There's no hurry. All right, so then if it feels nice, you can try lifting your back leg up, lifting this leg in the air, giving that lift a few breaths. So what will really help you here is focus on the hamstrings in that right back leg and getting the leg to come higher in the air because you've engaged them. Good, we're gonna exhale, set the leg down, slowly, steady, easy. Then from here, oh yeah, let's see if you can turn those back toes slightly out once again. Push evenly through both feet as you bring yourself up back to a standing position. Let's pause. Step your 2 feet together and then just lightly stretch, point the toes down. Los dedos del pie abajo. Good. And so you're just kind of stretching out your ankle here. Good, and lifting the knees. This is a great opportunity to feel your belly. Good, I'm gonna exhale as I lift one leg, pull my elbows in. Very nice. Just a hair. Good, let's do that one more time. And then stepping your feet wide once again. Actually, I like to. Let's do this. Let's hold a lift of your left leg and just place your hands for a moment underneath the thigh. So soften the elbows. And exhale, see if you can let the thigh be kind of heavy in the hands and really focus on finding the support through your standing leg. Sitting bones even. exhale, the arms can float out. Let's try that on the opposite side. If you want to kind of walk your feet just a little bit, but feeling your belly strong, connected, lifting, lowering, eso, eso. Good. So now same thing, catching your weight in the left leg, la pierna izquierda, and then putting your hands here, debajo del muslo derecho, underneath your right thigh. So really dare to kind of give the weight of your leg to your hands. Let that help you find a little more balance in your pelvis. Muy bien. Let's set that leg down. Good. So now I want you to take your right leg, hold weight there, or mirror me, go opposite. And then with your left, let's turn the knee in, turn the knee out, turn the knee in. So this is just kind of working inner outer rotation of that leg. Good, a little exploration of this movement. So now pause here for a second. Pull this right glute so that it engages, it hugs around the bones. And then lift your left foot, el pie izquierdo, until you can place it there on your pantorrilla, your espinilla derecha. Good, just give this a few breaths. Good, and then exhale, release, kind of shake it out. Vamos a hacerlo otro lado, so you're going to try that on the other side. Remember, it's an out and in movement. You'll feel this inner outer hip. Good. Good, try to engage the abdominals such that your ribs, your hips are anchored and stable as you take this movement out and in. Good, so now pause with the leg out and then hug the foot up to your shin. Don't worry about anything else. Try to just really balance the hips. And then vamos a bajar. You're going to lower the leg right back down. And then again, lightly kind of just move the blood through your feet. Good. So let's go back to an external rotation now with your left leg out. And then see about lifting the foot to the thigh. Pause here for a moment, una pausa. And then bring your two arms up. Good. And pull the belly strong. Good. Let's lower the arms. Let's lower the leg. Same thing, kind of be light here once again with the limbs. And then with your right leg, la pierna derecha, will open up. Foot moves to the thigh. Good. Arms out to the side. And then aiming to raise the arms overhead, maintaining that balance in the pelvis. Ooh, it's hard. Good, and then we'll exhale, release the arms, release the leg. Good, let's stay once again, just light with the joints. Now, we're gonna step our feet. Un paso grande afuera. So now big wide stance. The right toes once again are gonna turn out. We're gonna open the arms, and then let's begin to float all the way down. Big stretch. Sobre la pierna, so over your leg. Opening your chest. So you want to tilt the bottom part of your rib cage up towards the sky. Good. And stay energized through your feet. Good. So now from this position, the hips move back. You can bend your front knee. And from here, you're going to take top hand to your hip. We'll take a hand down to the floor. And then esta pierna, your back leg, let's step it in 2 feet. So you can stay right here or walk your bottom hand out 1 foot. So do this very slowly. And remember, pause anywhere. And then you'll exhale, shift some weight into that leg as you lift your left leg up. Let's give this a few breaths. Good. You can take the top arm, lift as well. Good. Exhale, set that leg down. Hand back to the hip. Stretch back through a Trikonasana. And then exhale, bring yourself all the way back up. Vamos a hacerlo otro lado. So try it on the other side. But you might want to shake it out just a little bit. So through the feet, through the knees. Another big, wide stance. And then we'll turn out. Vamos a girar afuera. Your otro dedos del pie. So your other set of toes. Let's go ahead and stretch your arms up. And remember, as you stretch over this leg, you're pulling your opposite hip back. And that's what's going to really help you stretch in a deep, profound way your hip here. Good. So let the arms lengthen away from each other while your scapula is pulling together. Good. And then let's just take the top hand to your hip for a moment. I want you to feel the hips move back as you bend this knee. Good. And then from here, we're going to take your top, you're going to take your bottom foot, step it in. Good. And then your left hand, your bottom hand, walk it out. And then as it feels comfortable to you, lift the top leg, top arm. Very nice. Let's exhale, set that leg down. Good. And then push through your bottom foot, bringing yourself all the way back up. Let's walk your 2 feet in. Good. So now step to the back of your mat. And we're going to start walking our weight kind of into our hands a few times. So warm up your arms by stretching, reaching away, and pulling your elbows back towards your body. So stretching, reaching out and away, pulling back, reaching out, pulling back, reaching out, pulling back, reaching out, pulling back, reaching out, pulling back. Good. So now reach out, move the thighs back, and then let's exhale, come all the way into a long forward bend. So you've planted your hands on the floor. From here, you can let the knees soften and then lengthen. Good. Now we're going to take our hands and just lightly walk our hands out and away from our feet. So maybe you're going to pause here for a moment in a little down dog. Good. So getting a lot of length through the backs of the legs, lifting the sacrum up. Good. Let's exhale through the hands, walk our weight back once more, all the way towards your hand, all the way towards your feet. So good. Otra pausa. And then we're going to slowly just let the bones of the back float up. All right. So now let's try that again, and then we're going to walk it more into a plank. So you're going to inhale, the arms float up. Exhale, the arms float down, the thighs move back. Good. Reach the arms out, find a flat back here on this journey downward. Lots of extension through the fingertips. The arms can float to the floor. From here, once again, we're going to walk our hands out. Let's go derecha, izquierda, derecha, walking a little further into a plank pose. Just hold this plank pose for 5 breaths. So reaching weight out through the heels, tailbone dropping down, abdomen in, head lifted, breathing. Good. Let's exhale. Set your knees down. Reach your two hips. La cadera se mueve atrás. Let your head rest on the floor for a moment, getting a big stretch through your arms. Good. We're going to inhale. Let yourself bring your blanket now, if it's close by, to the center of your mat. And we're going to set your knees on top of the blanket. And I want you to try just a few things. So let your head move down, let the elbows come down. And then we're going to lift and come up, looking at the sky. So let the elbows float down, feeling yourself move almost into Adho Mukha Virasana. And then exhale, lift, creating a little arch in the back. So you're just kind of putting some movement of your limbs into a cat-cow. But let's take this a few more times. Good. All right. And then from here, let's move the weight of the body back so you can pull your weight into the knees, reaching back through your shins. So we're going to inhale, dive the weight forward once again, and really undulate the spine while you lift up. Arms can come up. We'll come down. And exhale, rising up. One more time. Arms, fingertips lowering to the floor. Now placing your hands on your hips. Let your left leg move forward. Walk that foot out just a little bit and take a big stretch. Estiramiento aquí. Take a stretch there into your right hip. Good. So you control the amount that you're stretching by, and again, if you want to make this dynamic for a little bit at first, just to wake up and see what is the hip stretch that my psoas is asking for today. Move the weight back, move the weight forward. Let's do that one more time. And then let's pause down here for just a moment. Good, try to lengthen out your back. And then we're gonna exhale, move weight back so you can really give a stretch to your hamstring. I'm gonna let my head go. Very nice. And then from here, let's go ahead, take your hands to the inside of this leg and open the left knee out to the side. So as you stretch, you're just opening that knee slightly to the side. Good, and then we're gonna exhale, bring all of that back and reach your weight back onto the knees. Let's come forward with the opposite leg. So now the right foot comes forward. You can walk that foot out just a little bit. And we can begin by kind of creating a dynamic stretch. Here, moving weight back. Moviendo el peso del cuerpo adelante y atrás. So moving weight forward, moving weight back. And again, using this as an opportunity to check in with your hamstrings. Check in with your hips. How tight are they? What do they need this morning? So now let's pause with your weight stretched forward. And letting your leg run the length of the side of you here. Good, and now let's exhale, move the weight back. A big stretch. Good, now we're gonna take your two hands to the inside of the leg, open the knee out to the side as you come and stretch forward. And you'll just feel a little more stretch here, a little more external rotation. Good. Let's exhale, release, pull that weight back. Take your two legs back behind you. Now we're going to let the forearms come down to the floor. Walk your right leg, your left leg back. And let's take about 5 to 10 breaths here in a little forearm plank. So your belly is lifting from the floor. We're lengthening your low back, pulling the abdominal in, long through your spine. Good. And then let's exhale, set the knees down, set your hips down, and come roll onto your left side or your side that will allow you to face the computer screen. So let's exhale, try this a few times. Just let your top leg and top arm lift together and then lower down together. So they're gonna lift and they're gonna lower, letting your head, your neck release, relax. A thing that will help you stabilize your hips is letting the bottom leg press into the floor while you lift. Mientras subiendo. Good. So you can let those limbs kind of float down and up. Let's make this the last time. Good. And then pause. Take your hand to the knee. Get a little extra stretch in the hip here. Let's put the foot there on the thigh. And let the kneecap open up so you get a big stretch through the inner of your hip. Good. And then from here, let's exhale, stretch, extend the leg back a little bit. So you feel we'll work there on the outer leg. Let's let the leg stretch and extend forward just a little. And this is again pushing the bottom leg down will help you here. Good. Let's reach the leg back again. Hand and foot come together. Estirando la cadera. So this is a good hip stretching opportunity. And now you're going to take your top knee forward and then gently, gently, gently set it down on the floor. Your top arm, let it circle a few times in the shoulder socket. And even circle through your wrist, all the fingers. So you can create a real sweep here through your arm. Good. And then you can circle that around the other way. So they're sort of exploring every joint there. Good. And then let's let that arm come to rest behind you for a moment, finding a twist. Cerrando la columna. Long breaths. And then from here, let's bend your bottom leg. And then see about the hand, top hand, bottom foot coming together. And you can shift any amount. So I let my right leg or my top leg move out a little bit to deepen the stretch here in the back of my leg. Good, let's exhale, release, push your top hand down, and now push the top leg up. Let's exhale, pushing through that arm, hold ourselves lifted, levantado un ratito, and then we're gonna switch sides. So coming otro lado, doing this in the way that works for you. I'm coming down on this side. So here we go. Vamos a intentarlo otra vez este lado. So you're gonna exhale and lift. The top arm and the top leg lift together and lower together. See if you can really coordinate. Vamos a coordinar el movimiento con la respiración. So coordinate your movement with your breath. And then empujamos la pierna abajo, abajo. Pushing your bottom leg down into the floor. Good. Let's pause, holding those two legs up. Now, really feeling external rotation. So, you open this hip, bend the knee, and let the hip come stretch towards you just a hair. Good. And again, you can stay anchored through your bottom leg, letting it push down. Atrás, abajo. Good. Then this top leg can stretch up for a moment. Long breaths. Good. Let's exhale. Release those limbs and then let the top leg travel back. So just feel a little engagement through the hip. Oh, I remember what we forgot. Well, exhale, come through and place this foot on the thigh. So as you push the foot in the thigh, open the knee, la rodilla el cielo. So the kneecap should face up, and this will deeply, deeply stretch here. Good. Now, once again, let's reach the leg back, atrás. Good. Y ahora la pierna adelante. So now the leg reaches forward. Good. Letting that top arm open. Good. And now from here, we're going to bend your top knee, the hand and foot travel together. And then let the pelvis move slightly forward. Let the kneecap move back. Muy bien. And so now from here, you're going to let the top leg va viajar adelante. You'll let this leg travel forward. And slowly set your chest down. So now your top arm, let it circle. Feel energy through your fingers, through the wrist, through the elbow, and into the shoulder. So as you create these circles, you can play with rotation in and out. Good. And changing the direction there and just making sure you explore every nook and cranny in that joint. And then vamos a bajar. You're going to lower the arm back behind you, taking a few big respiraciones profundas, taking a few big breaths. Good. And now from here, let's bend your bottom knee. Let the hand and foot, top hand and bottom knee stretch together. And you can let this top knee even reach out to the side just a little. Good. We'll exhale, releasing that leg. Take your top hand in front of your shoulder, push your top leg up in the air. And then we'll exhale, lift, lifting the bottom arm. Good. And now let's push your two hands down and come to sit on your blanket. So inhale, stretch, reach your arms up, let the knees be a little bit wide. And then exhale, palm stretch forward. Try that a few times. So the knees can open as your sternum moves forward. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lower down. Good. So you may find you get a little bit more opening each time. Muy bien. Nos sentamos arriba y abajo. So you may find you can get a little bit more forward extension in your back as you lower. So your arms underneath your shoulders here are acting as a weight. So as you lower down, go really slow and let that provide a healthy amount of work for your low back. Good, let's do that one more time. Inhale and then exhale, coming down. Good. And then we're gonna press, reaching our arms up. Exhale, reach one arm back behind you. Big open twist. Exhale, moving back through your center. Opposite arm reaches, opens behind you. Good, let's exhale, moving forward once again. Lift the two arms up. So now your left leg or leg further from the computer screen, walk it next to the right so that the foot comes to reach along the outside edge of the mat. And then your opposite leg will now become your top leg. So you're going to put that foot over your knee and now let your weight begin to move forward. So this is a big hip stretch here. You'll notice for me, I usually start out this stretch with a little bit of space between my foot and my knee, but then as I'm kind of in the pose a little bit longer, the top thigh, el muslo encima, releases and comes towards the foot. And then I can feel a pretty even stretch through both sides of my pelvis. So let's exhale, hold here for just a moment. And let your sternum now move forward any amount. So you'll really feel this in the back of the hips as you move your weight forward. Good. And remember, extension from the upper spine. All right, so let's pause down here and let your hands walk forward. Good. And check in with your spine. Maybe you can round your back just a hair. And then exhale, stretch it forward. Let's walk your two hands to the right side of your body. Give this a few breaths. Good. Let's walk our hands around to the left side of the body. A la izquierda. A big stretch. Good. All right. And then from here, let's sit all the way nice and tall. You're going to slide your two kneecaps together. Good. And then walk your feet back towards your sits bones. So this is going to look different on everybody's legs. You can add more height by sitting on a blanket or sitting on a cushion. Anyway, so now from here, let your right arm come to the middle of your spine. And then let the arm begin to slide up your back just any amount. And now your left fingertips can float down your back just to the middle of the spine. So don't worry about the fingers making contact. Just let the fingertips walk towards the spine, and then perhaps eventually you can walk them a little closer together. No reason to force this pose. Give it just a few breaths. Make sure your neck is released. Good. And then we'll exhale, unwrap the arms, circle the shoulders. Again, just thinking blood flow, circulation, healthy range of motion, encouraging that through all your tissues. Good. And then from here, I'm going to tip some weight back. You can unfold the legs. And let's try all that on the other side. I'm going to turn to face this way just to give my neck a bit of a descansito. So now your arms floating up. Let's exhale, come down. And knowing Remembering that you can use the arms here as you move really slowly as like a little weight here for your spine. Healthy amount of weight to lift. These poses can also be done in a chair, just crossing one leg. That's better for your lower limbs today. Let's try one more. Inhale and exhale. Let's pause down here for just a moment. And you can let your spine arch back. And then let's move the spine from the sacrum through the lumbar, through the thoracic, all the way forward. Good. Your elbows can come down. Do what feels comfortable to your back, to your hips. Let's stretch back up. So now I'm going to inhale, take my arms up in the air. My outside leg furthest from the computer screen. I'm going to walk that foot across my mat, lifting the opposite leg. So now my bottom foot is lined up with the outside edge of the mat. And then I'm going to put my top foot on top. So you'll notice, again, on this side, between my knee, between my foot, there's a lot of space. But just being in this pose for a little bit allows my leg to lower and allows my hips to really open. Good. So just enjoy that exploration. If this is feeling uncomfortable for your knee, put a cushion or a prop here between the foot and the ankle, or you can just lightly kind of leave a hand here so that you're offering a little bit of support or resistance just as you're discovering how this pose feels to you today. So maybe after being here for a little bit, the knee can come down. And then you can let the spine, la columna puede estirar adelante. Let it take a few more rounds. Very nice. And then we'll let our fingertips walk out. So when you walk your hands out, try to move your hips back and the spine forward. And then we'll exhale, come down here, just stretching any amount for a moment. Let's exhale, pushing that weight back. Slide your two knees together. So then your feet can walk a little bit closer towards the outside of your hips, so kind of back towards the body. The idea is that you have the two knees stacked, one on top of the other. And then from here, pause for just a moment, lengthen the spine, feel the belly muscles connect. And then we're going to exhale. Just begin by letting your left hand, la mano izquierda, is going to come and rest on your spine. You can do some things to check in with your arm so you're not forcing a stretch before you're ready. So maybe letting the arm bone move back. Good. And then perhaps walking the hand just a little bit further up the back. Now reaching your right arm up in the air and letting the fingertips float down and up. Good. So then let's pause here for a moment. Letting the fingertips stretch, reach towards one another. Check in with your neck, chin down and up. So if your hands touch, I wouldn't grip. I would just let the fingertips continue to stretch. Good. And then from here, we're going to exhale, unfold the arms. Once again, kind of circle through your shoulders. Good. And then let's exhale. Hands underneath you for a moment. Let's unfold your two legs. Good. And then we're going to start moving our way down to the floor. Let me check the time. Oh, I had a feeling. I had a feeling it was this time. So unfold your blanket or clear your mat so you have a steady little surface here. And we're going to exhale. So I'm coming all the way over my two legs, letting my head go. Really letting my neck release. And then we'll inhale and come up, stacking the spine tall, letting the head be the last thing to come up. And then we're going to exhale and begin to float down the legs. Your head's now going to be the last thing to come down. So you're just going to slowly, slowly lower. Using your exhalations to guide you to the floor, reaching through the fingertips. And then coming down on the mat, let's open your arms into a cactus shape, keeping your knees bent. Let's now stretch your hips. Lado y lado. Let's take that side to side. All right. And exhale. Really find the range of motion that feels good to you. How much can you push through the feet to get a deep stretch in the hip? Good. And then let's let the soles of the feet come together. Let the knees open and close just a few times. Good. Holding the knees closed, walking the feet a little closer to your sits bones. You can lift your pelvis ever so slightly. So with your, notice again, it's just going to provide a little stretch to the front of the hips, to the knees. Okay, let's exhale, set the pelvis down. Let the heels pull towards the sitting bones and then let the knees open up. So another little stretch kind of into the ankles. Good, we'll exhale, release, allowing that to come down. And let the hands now move behind the head. Last little stretch we'll do. You're going to really take the weight of your head in your hands and let the head curl up from the floor. Stretch your neck here side to side. And then when you feel like you've gotten enough good stretch there, let's exhale, set that down. Let your elbows pull into your sides for a moment. Lift your scapula, arching the back. And exhale, setting it all down. So now we'll let our legs come long. And you can rest your hands and let's just spend a few moments together exploring our breath. Allow the breath to move in and out your nose. Allow your breath to lengthen and deepen with every inhale and every exhale. Now slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Let the toes turn in and out. Same thing with your arms here. And then let's hug your arms over the chest and draw the two knees up as well. Rock your back side to side. Move it front to back. Let's exhale and roll to one side. And press up through our arms into a seated position. And let's sit together for un ratito. Oh, friends, it's good to see you. Your practice is a gift. Disfruta el resto del día and namaste.
Namaste. It's good to be back. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Oh, I was
Good to see you all.
Good to see you, Cindy. I was worried we did too much standing stuff. I was thinking about you. I was like, oh, this probably isn't the right class for Cindy.
No. I just did what I could, and it's
okay. Well,
good to be back.
If I see you on Friday, we're gonna have the Cindy special. Okay, it'll be all about your foot.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Nikki. Have a great day. Bye, man. Bye, Nikki.
Bye. Thank you.
Pleasure when you can be here. So good to see you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Y'all have a good one.
You have a good day too. Bye, Elizabeth.